has any issue, please speak now or put your camera off if you are concerned with your face showing live, but this will be recorded. The reason we are recording is because there is a lot of interest with this meeting today, but many people also couldn't make it. So we want to give everybody an opportunity to be present. So first of all, it's great being here, and it's great to see so many new faces to me. I'm going to introduce the speakers for today's, but before starting, we just said probably I'm the only one that needs an introduction here because you all know each other's. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Alfredo. I'm the Volleyball Ireland board member linked with the Education and Training Commission. And my role today is really going to be to host this meeting for you. So I'm going to hand it over very soon to speakers that have a full agenda for you today. And before doing that, just a couple of housekeeping notes. First of all, we really hope that you can bear with us and technology. Not everybody's tech savvy as Gary, and Gary will soon leave us because he has another commitment that he needs to attend. So we're going to have him speak first. Second of all, if you have questions, feel free to ask them along the way. However, if you see me jumping on and say, guys, time out, that's because we probably need to park because we want to make sure that we deliver the content that we have. Now, questions are really important. So if you do have those questions, please ask, and we will do our best to answer those questions. Also, bear with us if not everything is going to be finalized at this stage. Especially with COVID, we're going to address the elephant in the room right away. Especially with COVID, there are a lot of things that are being decided day by day. So rest assured that everything that has been decided will be communicated with follow-up emails and communications. And probably we will have updates up until the very last day before the league starts. Why are we having this call, and why are we not just sending emails? You know, when Colette and I decided to have this meeting, we said, first of all, it's been a while since we all, since you guys officiated matches. So we want to call it this as a bootcamp, just to give the idea that now is the time for you to focus on refreshing rules, being ready on what's expected of you. And with the new season and the new norm that COVID-19 is for all of us, it's great that we have an opportunity to address this group separately. And hopefully it's something that we can do more often. Maybe we can, if this adds value to you, it's something that we could replicate every quarter or every 6 months, whatever you guys want. So with that, if everybody is clear on what we're going to do, we have scheduled 2 hours. Hopefully we can finish before that, but you know, we will see how things go. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of who is going to present today. So that's me on the left. You have Colette, who's going to cover a lot of the communications and updates for the upcoming season. And as you know, Colette is the Volleyball Ireland Education Training Commission member for the referee development group. And then we also have Vinny. We are delighted to have Vinny on board with us today because he's going to talk us through a lot of important things. And amongst all of them, what we've asked Vinny to do is to share his personal journey in his career as a referee, just to inspire everybody there that there is more to gain from this role. Now, Gary, I have to apologize to you. I didn't put your face up there. It was too late to update the slide. And I didn't know if it was you or Norma doing it. So apologies for that. But because you have this commitment, I'm going to go straight on the agenda, and then I'll pass it on to you.
Great.
So this is what we're going to cover tonight, guys. We're going to talk about COVID-19 protocols. It's not going to be a full overview of lecture on the COVID-19 protocols, but we will try to keep it strict to the point and focus on what will happen on the first day. So a lot of what you will see is FYIs, just for your information, but everything that you will be here today is things that you need to be aware of. Then Colette is going to cover the updates for the upcoming season. Vinny will walk us through the referee pathways and call outs on score sheets, which is a very important topic. And we have our spotlights on in terms of how we manage score sheets moving forward. And finally, we'll open up for Q&As. Any questions at this stage? By the way, if anybody has questions, feel free to come off mute and speak, or you can use the emotion icons like the thumbs up or okay or applause, because I'm going to be able to watch that on my second screen, and I'm going to jump in if other speakers are talking and somebody has a question. Okay, fair enough? Yeah. Thumbs up? Yeah, cool. Okay, Gary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alfredo. Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Cool. So just I'm well, first of all, my commitment this evening, it's the mother-in-law's birthday, and I'm on chef duty, so I can't let her down. So that's why I'm kind of running. There's a few. I would love to be here for the next couple of hours, but that's one thing I can't get in trouble with. So I'm really conscious that we had a big session on Saturday on this, and a lot of the people that are joining tonight were there as well. So I'm not going to go over it line by line. I'm just going to kind of give a taste really of the general principles of where we are with COVID. Alfredo, I made you the host again there, and I don't think I can share. So if you can just allow me to do that, that would be great. Thank you.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
I made you co-host.
So, am
I stopping sharing for you?
Yeah, it's grand. Yeah, I'm good. Give me 1 second.
As Gary pulls up his slide, those links that you see there, guys, are just the links of the official governing bodies that we all refer to. Obviously, at the top is the government website. The second one that we give guidance from is Sports Ireland, and obviously we have our Volleyball Ireland's page ourselves.
Cool. So you can see that, can you? The green and black.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, really quickly again, as I mentioned, we kind of went over this on Saturday, so I don't want to regurgitate that too much. But basically, the situation is obviously there was government announcements last week on this 5-level living with COVID plan. I think it was Tuesday, it was published. Then on Friday afternoon, we received some clarity from Sport Ireland in terms of what it meant. Basically, for us and for volleyball and for the National League, our National League competition, so Premier to Division 2, has what is called Senior Club Championship status. So that means that National League teams can continue to train at level 2 and level 3, and they can continue to play matches at level 2, level 3. And the training doesn't have to be this phrase that they use, a pod. So previously it was pods of up to 6 could train indoors. For National League clubs, that's no longer in place. Teams can train as normal up to level 3. So that's just to give you guys a little bit of the context around it. So if you're kind of wondering how Dublin teams, for example, can continue to train and play with the current restrictions, as you would see in the media, that's why, because we have this Senior Club Championship status. And what that also means is people involved in a National League fixture have an exemption for domestic travel. So referees, coaches, players on match days are able to leave their county if their county is at level 3 status. So Dublin referees, if their fixture is in Kildare or Cork or wherever it is, you have a special exemption because you are participating in that National League match. Okay, so you can leave your county. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give that context. Then other things like recreational, social volleyball, junior club volleyball, things like that, they're all at different statuses. Okay, so this kind of infograph chart that we have there, we'll be publishing that fully tomorrow. A copy of that will be sent to club secretaries and so on and so forth. That can be shared amongst players and referees and coaches. All right, so I just wanted to kind of share that because I think it's kind of useful just to give you a bit of an overview of the context of where we are. Now, alongside that, we will have a range of protocols. Now, obviously, we only got the information from Sport Island on Friday, so we've been busy updating that since. The latest protocols will be released tomorrow by close of play, and it's basically building on our previous return to play protocols, but now includes a special match day protocol section, which I'll scroll down to now. So section 11, match day protocols. Okay, so there's a fair few items there that both clubs need to be aware of. As I mentioned, I'm kind of well aware that probably half the people on this call at least were there on Saturday, so I won't go into it line by line, but the general principle of how we came up with these protocols was that we wanted to keep the actual match environment and the actual rules of a volleyball match out of this completely, as much as possible. So we weren't going to look to put in protocols that would typically impact a match. Okay. The main difference, really, I suppose, between a COVID environment match and a previous match, there's a few key things which I'll touch on now. So the first one really is that both teams will appoint a COVID officer that will be in attendance during that match. And the COVID officer has a range of various different responsibilities, okay? And those responsibilities will include engaging with the away team to give them information, but also engaging with you as referees to give you information that is vital to your role. So things like when you're turning up to a game, if the venue has any specific access restrictions, or if there's a specific entrance to the building that the venue requires you to use, if there'll be changing rooms available for to use, and so on and so forth, because every venue may have different rules and regulations. So that's kind of a key role of the COVID officer in terms of their engagement with yourselves. Another key part of the COVID officer's responsibility is the completion of a Matchday Checklist. And this basically is to support the COVID officer and to the clubs put in place the various things that they need to ensure the game can go ahead with COVID compliance. This Matchday Checklist is then submitted to Volleyball Ireland. So we have a record of how things have gone, but also it's an opportunity for the COVID officer to identify anything that they might need help and support with, basically. So the home COVID officer has a checklist, and the away COVID officer will have a checklist as well. To be honest, there's not really a huge difference apart from that. I mean, there's a few things around we're working through at the moment in terms of timeouts and team talks and things like that, and whether they need to be socially distanced, so on and so forth, scorekeepers wearing face coverings, etc. We're not asking, basically with the face covering situation, we're not asking anybody that needs to verbally communicate, so coaches, referees, or anyone that you expect that their heart rate or breathing would increase, such as players, obviously, for example, they won't be wearing face coverings. The only people involved directly in a match that we foresee that would wear a face covering will be the scorekeepers at this stage. Okay. And there's a few other bits and bobs in there around chairs and benches being sanitised and so on and so forth. There's a piece around how the rotation slips will be presented. What really we're trying to do there is to minimise risk as much as possible. So even though, look, there's going to be a match with 24 players and they're going to share a ball and there's going to be sweat on the ball and so on and so forth, there's still our kind of principle is that where we can possibly reduce risk, we will try and reduce risk. So the handing of rotation slips around 2 or 3 people, stuff like that will be clamped down. So it'll be literally whoever fills in the rotation slip, ideally they're the only person that would have contact with that rotation slip, and so on and so forth. We're pretty much there with it. After the AGM and the COVID session with the clubs on Saturday, we had a few items that we went back to Sport Island with clarity on. We're still waiting on 1 or 2 bits from them, which we expect in the morning, at which stage the protocols will be published. And then if anyone has any questions on that, then of course, look, we are more than happy to clarify anything. As Alfredo said, it's kind of likely that this will be a bit of an evolving document right up until the start of the season. And even if, the government come with further restrictions or further changes, it might be something that's a live document and changes throughout the year as well. We will be producing a matchday protocol educational video, which will be for referees, for coaches, for players, for clubs. That'll be done kind of similar to this, and that it will be distributed via a link on YouTube for everybody to kind of follow. So as many people as possible are kind of in the loop before the actual games begin in, I think, 3 weeks' time. So that's kind of the key principles. I know Claudia and Kevin are here. I sit on the list there from the National League Management Committee. Obviously, Alfredo, you've been involved in this. So if you guys have anything else you'd like to add, then that would be great. And if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to take them at this stage as well. But that's just a kind of a general overview of where we are and the principles behind the protocol. Just one further point I mentioned before about the domestic travel exemptions. So each referee as well, you'll be issued with a letter from Volleyball Ireland with your referee license number on your name, which explains why you are allowed to, why you have this domestic travel exemption. So if you do happen to get pulled over by the Gardaí, then you'll have that as your kind of backup, I suppose. So that's something we'll be issuing to all referees before the start of the season.
So I can see some hands up, and I think Regina is first.
Just wondering, with regards to sanitizing the balls in between sets, would that be the responsibility of the second referee, considering that we generally only have 1 match ball? Would that be incorporated into their responsibility in that 2-3 minutes, or would it be the home team we'd be looking to take on that responsibility?
Yeah, it's be the home team's responsibility to do that. So the home team COVID officer, that will be part of their roles and responsibilities, and that's an item on their checklist that they have to give assurance that they've done.
But in between sets, because the ball would be under the responsibility of the second referee at that time.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it easier to have the second referee, or would you want to remove that responsibility completely?
Well, we felt that the general kind of gist was that we wanted to keep referees basically have enough to be thinking about and to be concerned with. So we're trying to keep as much as we can away from referees in relation to their responsibilities of this. And one thing that's worked well in the past when we've had other events this summer is that our own COVID officer would basically have that ball, and that they would be responsible for swapping the ball. So it could be that they come up and present the new sanitized ball for the second set to the second referee.
So then should we have maybe, like, is it like we're saying, maybe 3 match balls then that we would sign off at the start of the game?
Yeah, that's up to the club to work. I mean, look, 2's probably enough whilst the first one's in play. The second one can be cleaned and so on. Yeah.
Okay, I think I have all 24 people on screen now. I don't see any more hands up or questions.
Sorry, guys.
Thomas and then Clodagh. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi,
Sorry, I can't see how to do the hands up there. I was trying to.
No problem. Go on, please.
Is there any added responsibility for referees going forward with the COVID, from a COVID point of view. And where I'm coming from there is, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but we could be looking at maybe a level 3 across the country, or on a number of places going forward. Hopefully not, but which would mean no spectators from what I can see from the list that was there. So is it a case of during the records and stuff, will there be, I don't like to say this, but clubs fined, void games, anything crazy going to happen with that, or how are we going to implement this, or is the referee any say in this?
Okay, I'm gonna give a step to this one, and then Gary, Claude, jump and help me. So I think that when we discussed these protocols and in the meetings that we had last Saturday during the AGM and the competitions briefing, we asked ourselves, what happens if somebody is not happy with the safety measures and with COVID? So what if all of a sudden 50 people show up on top of the ones that are allowed to in-house, right? So I think that ultimately there is a COVID-19 officer per team. And so if they are unhappy with that, they need to speak up and make sure that everything is taken place to rectify that. Equally, the referee, if they have concerns with COVID with the teams not being compliant, I would say that they should refer to the team captain, and Claude, I need your support here. And then the team captain should consult the COVID officer to make sure that the situation is rectified. Does that make sense? Claude, if you want to jump off mute and give us your view on this.
Well, I guess just, I think what we were saying on, sorry to say, I think, just to soften it, what we were saying on Saturday was that really the COVID safety measures and protocols are like an additional requirement of the home team, just like they have to have a antenna and safe posts and so on. COVID basically falls under that. So if you're in level 3 and you're not meant to have spectators, the COVID officers absolutely of the home team should be preventing that and stopping that. And anybody on either team can flag that to the COVID officer or the referee. The referee, I think if the COVID officer is not the captain, I think the referee may ultimately end up talking to a COVID officer, especially if we have emergency situation where someone starts experiencing COVID symptoms on the court, which we have to cater for all sorts of scenarios. So, but I think if there was spectators in there and they shouldn't be in there, home team should be responsible. They should get rid of them. If home team doesn't notice, and away COVID officer should be flagging that to the home team. So I think there's a lot in place for the COVID officers themselves to deal with that, but the referee, as always, should be checking that the place is safe. And I think, I don't know if you guys are explaining later, you will be sent out all these protocols and that, so you will need to be familiar with them, and we need to be familiar and do the COVID training.
Yeah,
as well.
It's going to be spoiler.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Absolutely. It's actually the perfect time to mention it. And most of you guys will have taken the COVID awareness training from Sport Ireland anyway for being players. So you're familiar with that. Thomas, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. It's great, actually, and great work so far. It looks like there's a lot being put into this already. So
Perfect.
Thanks a million.
Thank you. Claudia, you were next with questions.
Yeah, I just was going to flag as well to tell referees that and again, this is all, it's all happening so fast, and the office and Norma and Gary are writing the protocols, and the commissions are writing new rules for COVID rules. So just to flag that also, there are going to be COVID fixture change exceptions rules put in place, because essentially at any time coming up to the match, a team may have to postpone a match due to a COVID incident. Okay, so someone with symptoms or someone who's been informed they've been close contact or whatever the case is, and we want safety of the players and all our volleyball members to be put first over the actual result. So We are going to facilitate changes. Evidence will be looked for afterwards of, that medical advice was sought, or that dreaded text from the HSC. And also, but sorry, it could happen coming up to the match. It could happen during the match, where someone starts to have symptoms and they have to be isolated, and essentially we'll all need to enact the protocols that the COVID officers will know, and people may need to leave the hall or likely to leave the hall. It may even happen where it's not part of the volleyball match. It could be like an ALSA or in another hall where you're asked to leave because the maximum venue or whatever. Anyway, anything could arise. So we're trying to have fixture change rules sent out about that as well. So obviously in that case, the referee, it'll be a bit of a it'll be very similar to enacting the hall's not safe enough, or maybe possibly an incomplete team, and then you'll just complete up the score sheet, and there'll be a report to follow, kind of thing. So all that's trying to be refined at the moment, but it will be catered for. And additional communication before the matches is key. We're gonna have to all have. There's going to be a gazillion WhatsApp groups going, where our home teams need to be, close in contact with the referees as well, 48 hours, 24 hours, and on the morning of the match. So if we go into that here, you'll be here till midnight. But I know you've just to flag to referees that's coming too.
Yeah, thank you, Clodagh. I'm receiving a private chat, and somebody is asking me if we can state who is responsible for COVID safety, if it's the officer or the referee. My view on that is that it's a shared responsibility, as in COVID officers will definitely have a lot of pre-work to do and make sure that the place is safe before, during, and after each match. But equally, there is a responsibility for the referee, that they need to ensure that teams are playing in a safe environment. So I don't see those two being separate at all. I think it's a shared responsibility, and as Clodagh said, anybody can raise a concern at any point if there is an issue, and we all need to use our judgment. We all want to play, that's the most important thing, but safety comes first. We want to do it in the most possible and safest way. Okay. Does anybody have questions or other comments or suggestions before we move on? Gary, you're not sharing anymore, right?
No, I will.
I'm just pulling up the slide with the. Can you see the slide with the 3 links? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just again, as I said, indications or where we get our resources from. And Gary, I'm making an assumption here. Am I right in thinking that those protocols will all land in our Volleyball Ireland coronavirus page?
They'll all be on the coronavirus page. Yeah. What we're going to do as well, if you don't, well, look, we'll send specific mails to referees, specific mails to players and coaches, and so on and so forth, and everything will go in the weekly newsletter as well, which we send out. So you'll probably be bombarded with the information. So yeah. But yeah, look, just to kind of reiterate, I think with this, there's not really much of a precedent for us to go on. We're learning and evolving this as best we can. So I think everyone's going to have to really, it's going to be patience from everyone involved. And it's, please consider it a team effort. Clubs, referees, coaches, players, and Volleyball Ireland. We're all going to have to work together to do our best to keep volleyball on the go.
I know that there is a lot of question mark faces, and there is a lot of uncertainty, but although it sounds really wrong in this context, we have to stay positive. We have to think that there is a way to do it safely, and we will go ahead as far and as much as we can. Obviously, if there is a stop that is outside of our control, then we will take it for what it is. Okay. Any questions on COVID? Obviously, guys, if you have questions and questions come up afterwards, you can direct them to us via email. Colette is going to cover a section about emails, who to send email to and for what, so we will cover that there. I'm going to check one last time and see. I don't see anybody asking questions. So, Gary, thank you so much.
No
Enjoy
problem,
your
guys.
dinner.
Yeah, cheers. Look, thanks. I think this is a great idea as well, bringing everyone together before the start of the season. Thanks for everyone that's taken part, and good luck for the 2021 season. All the best. Cheers.
Thanks,
All right.
Gary.
Bye, Gary.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Great. So I'm going to now hand it over to someone who is very nervous about presenting. I said, Colette, don't be nervous, because this is you're the subject matter expert, and we are within people that know each other. So it's going to be fine and fun for everybody. Okay. All right.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I hope. Now, this is not a course or anything. This is just some reminders to everybody for the upcoming season to make sure everyone's on top of everything. The first thing, obviously, is your registration. Things seem to slide now and again, and we seem to forget the dates. Every year, we need to be sure that our Garda vetting, that our safeguarding, and our refresher courses are up to date, not just the actual registration. So Garda vetting is every 3 years, safeguarding is every 4 years, and your refresher course is every 3 years. And it's up to the referee themselves to ensure that you stay on top of those dates. Also, your club secretary should possibly be aware of them as well. But if you referee a game and these are not up to date, it can invalidate the game. So you want to be sure of that. Garda vetting is only a matter of completing 2 forms and sending it into the office to Norma. She'll look after it, and I think some ID as well. Safeguarding, your first safeguarding course must be face-to-face. Your second one then can be done online. Then your third one must be face-to-face again. But as I say, it's only every 4 years. The refresher courses is like just what most people do in a profession, CPD. And Alan usually runs these courses very well for us. So there's one coming up now, I believe, on the 1st of October, which I would encourage anyone whose refresher course is out of date to join us. So that's really that. There's email addresses coming up further that'll show you all the contact details you need as to who to contact to get these up to date. But I would encourage you to go check your dates now before the league starts, please. Okay, the next one is match officials, first and second referees. I need you to look back and make sure you know your own responsibilities. This is irrespective of COVID. And these are all there at hand on the VI website. So if you look under documents, you will see there's a list of responsibilities, your duties, the authority you have for the first referee under 2.1 and second referee under 2.2. They're all there. Okay. Same goes then for the captains and coaches as regarding in relation to you as a referee, who can talk to you, who can make requests from you as a first referee and as a second referee. This is all on the VI website also. It gives you the guidelines for substitutions, timeouts, rotations, and it also, there's a number of scenarios there to deal with situations and what could arise and hopefully doesn't. And lastly on that screen is the match protocol, which Gary has touched on there. Obviously we'll all, including myself, I'm not so afraid with that, we'll all get it, more details near the day. So any questions on those first 4?
Let me see if anybody seems okay. Perfect. So we're going to move on. Guys, if you have questions afterwards, again, you can speak up. There you go.
Now, players and coaches registrations. We'd like to encourage each team to print out their own registrations. The registrations are all now different to last year. Could you put it up now, Alfred, what the list, what it looks like? There's Lucia looking lovely.
Guys, sorry about the quality of the pictures, but as I said, these were received very late because they were just pulled. So yeah, if you want to talk through that.
So you can see here, it's what season it is, the name, the club, the team name, your registration number. So that starts off as the player. Underneath that then, if they are a referee, you'll see their grade and the referee's number. If they are a coach, you will see their grade and their coaching number. It'll all be on one card. And it's a new rule this year that if there is no player registration number or referee or coach on it, they cannot play, ref, or coach. This is the new rule that's come in this year. Okay, it's all on print, and number 3.3 and 3.4. It'll be in the new competition rules, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you go
Just
back to the other?
one quick
Yeah.
comment on this one, so that you can catch some breath. As you can see on the left-hand side, there is a one-pager where club secretaries can actually download it from Go membership. So this is actually a very nice touch because all teams have to do is now print those in one page. Well, obviously, if they have more than 8 people, there will be printing multiple pages, but it will avoid having all those cards flying around or showing off phones and things like that.
Yeah.
We haven't yet enforced that teams have to print this, but that's the direction we are probably going to. So I'm going to stop there, and I see that there is a question from Aurélien.
Yes, in fact, you just answered the question. Basically, it would be nice from Volleyball Island to reinforce that, because last year, up to the last game, we had some teams that were showing up at the game and checking their players on their phone, checking for the cards. Yeah. So basically delaying a lot the game. Yes. So that would be nice if a mail could be sent to the club secretary to say, print the list and come to the game with the list. That would facilitate the work of everybody.
Yeah, as said, it hasn't been decided yet, but that's what we're looking at. Now, obviously, I'm not today able to confirm that, but it's something that we all agree on, but it will have to be approved. Claude, I think you had your hands up.
Well, just to add on that, we really have to make it a rule or a COVID protocol, because you can't have everyone touching each other's phones and stuff. It has to be ideally on a laminated sheet that doesn't have to be touched by anyone else after when the coach hands it in.
Yeah, no, that's it's great to see that basically there is agreement across the boards.
I would agree there also. Just last year, I found exactly what the first speaker said there. Was just depending on who, where, when, it was not very official at times. Yeah.
I think most of us also are club secretaries or players, so it's also kind of handy from a club perspective to have everything in one go. Yeah. Any questions on this? We can move on. I'm gonna have to do something cheeky. I need to go back and then.
Yeah, sorry, just on the point there, we said we're going to have a strict adherence to this. So is this void game scenario, or if our void player cannot play, etc., if they don't have the correct?
They have to have a registration number to play, because they're in Go membership now, which is very up to date. They can be done instantly, so there's no delay in the office for printing of cards or anything. So yes, if they don't have a registration number, they can't play.
Okay.
Did you mean the sheet? Did you, Thomas?
There was sheets, there was different phones, as you say, phone sheets, everything last year. There was multiple different things, so I felt a bit uncomfortable at times, because you were going, are they? I have to trust them, make a note in a score sheet. Do you know, it was a bit unprofessional at times, you know.
Yeah. So it's a rule. It's going to be a rule for the player that the player registration must be there, otherwise they don't play. Okay, but then I think it should be a protocol. It'll be a COVID protocol compliance, which is essentially a rule to have the printout. But I don't think if you manage to produce all your player licenses without the laminate, you're going to forfeit a match if you can prove they're registered.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
we
think
just
there
nice to,
was, sorry,
We'll have to fine tune it, yeah.
that's fine. Thanks.
Declan.
Yeah, I think at the moment you can't even attend training unless you're registered and allocated to a team. So you wouldn't be able to even come to a match unless you're actually on a team sheet. So I don't really see us as referees having that problem, because before they even get to the hall, they'll have to be following COVID protocols and be on a list as a registered player.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But it's
but I
about
just-
showing that license to the referee.
Okay,
That's what this is about, as opposed to being registered.
Righto.
So you're,
Yeah, well, register is a license. You can't even attend training unless you're registered on a team. So
I know.
you can't even get into the hall, because you'll be checked into the hall unless you're on that list as well. So there's several steps to even get as far as the score sheet, which is lucky for us
Mm.
at that point.
Well, hopefully, ultimately, that's going to rise now because of that. That's great. Hopefully, it won't be a problem this year.
Alfredo?
Else?
Hi, Denise.
Yeah. Just one thing, when you're showing up the Santry girls there, it's actually showing the team name. Will it show the actual level they're playing at? So will it say Division 1 or Division 2 or anything like that?
Well, that's actually a good point, because I asked the question today about play up, and
That's exactly what I'm going to say next. I mean, does it have to be in an actual sheet? I know last year we did print them like this, but we put them into pouches, like plastic pouches. So they were, but we have obviously a lot of players, so we do play up. So that actually would be very awkward if you were playing people up. It's much easier as individual cards. I think it should be, but either way, they just have to be, covered, not paper copies.
this is something, Denise, that I'm going to take off with the office and see what they say. But you will see at the end of this call some update about the score sheet that will hopefully help everybody notice if there is a play up, and we would hope to have the level, the team on those registration cards. So I'm going to take it offline and see what the office says.
Certainly, in the past, the division they played was always on the back of the card. I believe it's the back. But yes, that needs to be raised with the office to have it included.
Yeah, I've taken it as a
Right.
an item
What
for me.
point it needs, yeah.
Any more questions on players' registrations cards?
If I could ask one question.
Yep. Hi, Slavik.
Yeah. Last season, what happened to me, I think twice, I had the registration, but there was no number on it. Will it happen again?
It'll have to be fixed. You'll have to get onto the office. I don't know how this happened.
It happened twice, I think, during my matches. They brought me
I think what that is if the secretary hasn't done the final bit. So if you register on Go membership, it's not just the player that needs to register. The secretary then has to go in and allocate them to a team. And I think until that happens, they don't get a number. So that's just, clubs just need to know that final step needs to be done. So it's not just that the player needs to take an action that morning to register. As Colette said, the secretary has to then allocate them to the team, and then it would appear on the screen. But if you're not accepting that, then it all needs to be done in advance.
So without number, you are not letting the player go on the court.
According to what we're hearing tonight, that would be the rule, Slavik.
Okay.
Now, do we have secretaries here on this group? Dave, you're one of those.
Was there, no?
And before the beginning of the season, do you receive a checklist, or do you know, how do you learn how to manage Go memberships? By asking questions, probably.
Guys, can I suggest something? Sorry, I just think this is going off topic and not, this is about club administration and player administration. The rules for refs will be, if there's no, if they don't have a card and if they don't have a registration number, they can't play.
That's pretty much straightforward.
You have a lot to get through to tonight, so
yeah,
we can follow.
Thank you.
But I believe the issue with the no registration number is resolved, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to bring up one small point. If there's a technicality, if you're not assigned to a club My number didn't pop up last year either, and I'm not assigned to a club, so it could be an issue. Just a small point.
I think we will.
For your
we'll have to-
referee,
Sorry, Clodagh?
as a referee?
Yeah, I'm not assigned to a club, so it's.
Okay, just I'd say,
So I'll make a note to the office if I see it again.
yeah.
I'll try and
please.
reprint.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in there, Clodagh. I don't think you can leave that go just yet, because I think you will have cases where people will bring registration stuff, emails they've received from the office. So are we insisting that they actually have to print their card? They actually have to have the card this year, that type of evidence, as opposed to other evidence. Because generally speaking, we don't want to stop people playing.
No.
We want to let them play and note it on the score sheet. So, I mean, what you're saying there is that unless everything is exactly in correct, then we stop them playing. Is that what we're actually saying, or are we saying something else?
I think we're
I
saying
believe
that
that
we
was
stop
the
them
decision.
playing.
The former is what we're saying, because it used to be that you had delays with player cards because there was a bottleneck in the office, or you'd just get an email and stuff. Whereas now with the Go membership, it's very, very efficient, and there should be no reason why someone at a minimum can't show their card on their phone.
Okay, that's just different to what we've said a minute ago, so that's all right. Okay.
Guys,
Okay.
I must apologize. I think somebody is chatting me, but I can't find the chat. So if it's not private and you want to come off mute and talk, I see the notification.
It was me suggesting to move on.
That's grand.
Okay, let's move on
You
then.
came through anyway. Thank you, Clodagh. All right,
move on.
so let's take this. Let's move on and let's talk about equipment.
Equipment and hall, just to be aware, and obviously this is not related to COVID, be aware that any unsuitable equipment needs to be highlighted on the score sheet. This includes obviously the posts, the net, all of that, to be sure it's in good condition and all that. Just, it's your responsibility to note it. Okay. The next one, team's attire. This is right as arisen throughout. Again, this is in your guidelines. We have coaches, captains and players guidelines on the BI website under the referee section. This will tell you exactly what players can wear, which is obviously they must wear uniform jerseys, uniform shorts, numbered front and back, in theory, 1 to 20. Libero in a different color jersey, but contrasting to the rest of the team. What you wear under clothing, you can wear leggings or leg coverings, but they must be uniform with the rest of the uniform and uniform with the other players. So someone couldn't wear a white undergarment while the other one's wearing a black. That makes sense?
Yep.
A lot of players like to wear the skin tight clothing underneath.
Does it have to match shorts or shirt, or it can be different color but the same for all the players?
Well, yeah.
Hard to say. Yeah?
Each player can't be in different ones, is what I'm saying then. Usually it blends with the uniform, but I don't think we're going to be stickler if it's a blue instead of a black, you know, but each player who wears one, they must be uniform to each other.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, well, I'm asking because it happened to me again.
Officials fee. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Can I ask something there?
Yeah, ask away.
I know last year, obviously it's the jerseys, the tops usually are numbered back and front and they're uniform and everything like that.
Yep.
The shorts definitely are not uniform on most teams.
Yeah.
And, you know, and to be fair, I think if you stop people playing again, you probably will be, you know, maybe matches will stop. But how strict are referees going to be? Because they weren't last year. You're supposed to note them on the score sheet and it wasn't happening. Again, I don't mind. Are we saying it has to happen at Premier? It might have to happen at Division 1. Does it happen at Division 2? And again, I'll show how old I am. I thought, yes, I agree with everything you say about the arm coverings. Are the leg coverings allowed now without a medical reason for wearing them? Is that changed, or am I just
I
living?
don't think it's changed in the rules. I think it's still the same. When I was preparing those speaking notes, I saw the note, and the rule seems to be the same.
What, that they can't?
They
I got this
cannot.
wrong?
They need, if they're wearing legs covering, they need to be
Yeah.
supported by medical documentation.
Sorry, you're right
That's
there.
what you're
Yeah.
saying, Dennis. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm just
That's
checking.
still the case.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank you.
you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the top ones, the under, the
Okay,
sleeve
yeah,
ones.
the top
Yeah,
ones.
sorry.
But can we address the shorts bit, Colette, please? I don't mind. I just think we need to be uniform in what we're, you know what I mean. That we're all doing the same thing, really.
Yeah. Okay. Alan, could you help me
I
out
think
on
the
this one?
shorts applied to Premier only must be uniform, and then for Division 1 down, it's
The same
the
colour?
shorts. Jerseys must be uniform, but shorts do not need to be uniform.
They have to be the
That's my
same
last
color.
recollection.
Declan, I assume they have to be the same color, just not the same design.
I'm only recalling, Denise, but from Division 1, teams didn't have to have uniform shorts.
But what I'm
Jerseys,
saying
yes.
is, like, one could have a Nike one and one could have an Adidas and a Rio one. That's all right, but in Premier we expect him to have exactly the same shorts.
Premier, it's completely uniform, but
Yeah.
Division 1, the shorts, I believe they say in competition rules that shorts don't have to be uniform, or words to that effect.
Guys, I think that if this is not documented, we should stick to the rule as much as we can. But if there is a need of further guidance as to where do we agree and where we make allowances, this will need to come from Volleyball Ireland. So if you are demanding for more guidance in this, again, we will take it as a takeaway. But
yes,
my thought on that is that we should follow the rules. Clodagh?
Yeah, well, just to jump in there from competitions, the competition rules, Kevin's staying very quiet. Competition rules are being revised. So the leggings thing is in that now and the new version coming out. And I think we should, Kevin, maybe if you could just check what the exact competition rule is around the shorts, and then you guys can all read the competition rules. It is in there. Pretty sure it was in there. Hopefully it's still in there.
So the rule is, I mean, and just this was circulated a couple of times. So just to clarify for everybody, a player is permitted to wear skin tight underclothing, as Colette says, under their jerseys with permission of the match referee. They must be between players of the same team. Okay. Leggings or full leg coverings are not permitted, except, as Alfredo said, with a medical exemption. So you can wear compression pads, but effectively a medical cert is needed to cover leggings, and shorts must match. Now, I think we're not getting all, to Declan's point, we're not getting upset about whether it's a sort of a different brand, but if they're ostensibly black and they're the same length, we don't require you to go and buy exactly the same brand. But it can't be black and white and black, or they got to be. It's a uniform, especially in particularly in Premier. Okay, as I understand.
Yeah, thank you. Erlian, do you still have questions, or was it answered? And then Paige.
It's part of what Kevin said. So basically, it has to be clarified because come as well the case of cup game and cup game basically, where we have a mix of Division 1 playing with Premier. So basically, if the requirement is not the same, obviously it might create problem for referee in terms of uniformity of the show.
You don't have a mix of Division 1 and Premier playing. It's a Premier team or it's a Division 1 team.
Yeah, but what I mean is that during the league, the team is Division 1, decide to participate in the cup.
Well, then they have to wear the uniform.
Yeah, so basically that we'll see that if basically there is a rule, all the league, this Division 1 team that participate in the cup needs to be aware about this uniformity, basically in shorts. Otherwise, they will show up at the game and they show up with maybe different different shorts, and you cannot ask those teams at this moment particularly, look guys, you need to buy new shorts because of the cup. It has to be said at the very start and make them aware that if they participate to the cup, they will have to adhere with this condition.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. So we're gonna take this as a follow-up topic. So if we want to share further guidelines on this, Colette and I will link up and send it afterwards. We're gonna take one more question on this. Piotr, you have your hands up.
Hey guys, just regarding the leggings rule, I'm just wondering why the VI can't change that rule. The question, my question simply is that you know yourself as a player, as a referee, you're coming to the different halls in Ireland, and those halls are basically cold in the winter. We're not playing on a really, really high level. We don't have a halls which are always heated up. It's not warm enough for some players. So I'm just wondering why we can't change the rule of the leggings and allow players to wear them, because they basically just help you with the blood circulation and they just keep you warm. That's the whole rule of the leggings, you know. Like myself, I'm after the 3 surgeries for the knees. They really help me, especially in the cold halls. So
Look, the feedback is heard, and we all been playing in cold halls, and we know the way it is. Probably this is not the right place to make that change. It's not going to be changed by us anyway. So this could be suggested as a change of the rules when the opportunity arises for clubs to add suggestions. But for the time being, we will have to stick with the rules. And as far as I understand, no allowances will be made until the rule officially changes. But the need to change the rule is there. I respect the feedback, but we're not gonna change it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Clement, I said last question. Were you pointing the lights or what? Oh, and you're on mute.
We have one more question?
Clement, you're on mute. No, I can't hear you. And I can't tell you to chat me because I don't know where the chat is.
We move on?
We're gonna move on and come back to you if that's okay, because we can't hear you at all. Or I don't know if you can chat anybody in the group if you have their number and they will ask the questions for you, but we're gonna move on until you fix your mic issues. Okay, go on.
This was just a small point, officials fees. This came in last year and it hasn't been adhered to, just to ensure that referees' fees are paid in advance of the matches, okay? Because teams have a tendency to go off, have showers, well, maybe they won't be now with the COVID, of course, but they go off and cool down or whatever and go to sign the source sheet and to go and the team are gone or whatever, right? So just save time. Just a reminder on hand signals. Again, that's all in the guidelines on the documents, detailed out in 10 and 10.1, full hand signals, just to go over them again. This thought.
There's a quick question from Declan, I think.
Sorry, as regards fees, has anything been brought in to pay online or any other method aside from handing over cash and coins?
That's a good point. I don't think it has.
I don't think it has. I personally, as a ref, wouldn't want to give my bank details to a home club. Every club we go to referee. I don't know how this.
Declan, the answer is going to be straight and no, but there's definitely more to give more thoughts to that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we could just do that. The home team pays the full amount, because then on the reverse side, the other team pays, and
Could
they
be
have it in
sorted
an
out amongst COVID officers
whatever.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's a good point. I've taken note of that, Declan.
Thanks.
Okay. Are we happy to move on? Yeah.
That happy with that screen? Yeah. Everyone all right?
Let me see. I'm checking. Yeah. No hands up. Everybody's still alive. Everybody's still alive. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. I can see some smiles. Cool. Oh. Okay.
These are just call outs. Call outs. These are things that have arisen every time. So we just want to get this message through to everybody. Our own referees' attire. We cannot give out to players with mismatched shorts and different color undergarments if we don't show up ourselves looking as professional as we can. And this comes up every single year. We need to look professional and wear the right gear, which is your white VA, polo shirt or sweatshirt, your navy trousers, belt if optional is white, no jeans, no chinos, no cords, no track ends. None of this is acceptable. And players, captains are allowed to say this to the referees if they want. You're not looking your part. Your shoes, predominantly white, obviously clean. This, we have to make an effort. Look the part, you'll be the part, and you'll come across well. Any questions on that? No?
I would just add another one to the leggings, if you let me.
What's that? Sorry,
Go on,
It's in the
Slavik.
chat. It's in the chat. I put the question
Yeah, no,
again.
I know, but I can't find the chat. That's the problem I'm having.
Okay.
You can ask the question if you want.
Peter,
Yeah,
you
I
don't-
see. Okay, what if the female player suddenly faces monthly issue? Should I let her have leggings, especially if they have no substitution? This is what happened to me.
Lord, in all my years, I've never come across this.
I did, and I let her play with leggings, but I asked opposite team if they have anything against it. That was sudden issue, and I didn't have actually a choice.
Yeah. That's a. I have never come across it. It's a sympathetic thing. I think if the other team don't have a problem, it's
Okay,
not going to rise very
so
often.
hold on,
Technically,
hold on a
guys,
minute. Hold on a
Technically,
minute.
the answer is no. It's not uniform.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. but
Okay,
no.
so I don't want to pass. I don't want that this message will pass, and that if captains agree or teams agree, we can change the rules, because this is not allowed.
Yes.
So
It's a tough
in
one,
that
yeah.
case, if you made an allowance because you use your judgment and you deemed opportune, you deemed appropriate to make that allowance, it was your personal choice, but you need to be aware that that is against the rules. So okay, that the team captains, you know, of the other team said okay, but they can say okay and they can claim against that, and they might have a valid claim that the opposite team was not compliant. I don't know what that's going to entail, and Kevin is going to jump on it, but the message here is that two teams cannot agree to change the rules. Kevin.
Yeah, can I just be very, very careful about making decisions and saying because the captains agreed, it's valid.
Yeah.
It's not valid. The decision is, in that decision, Slavik, you make the decision, you tell the captain, this is the decision that you're making. And if they wish to object to that later, they may do. But you say, I'm making this decision and this is what's going to happen. And you're the boss and you make the decision. So you cannot, to my mind, it's very, very dangerous to ask permission of the captains for a decision. I think it's difficult, but you got to make it, you got to stick by it, and you got to tell them to accept it. And they play the match, and if they wish to object, they object.
Alfredo. Yeah.
Can I just make one point there?
Hi, Tommy.
Guys, I agree with what's all been said, but I do believe I saw a presentation before by Alan Gormley, which was very informative about the spirit of the game. So we need to, I agree with Slavik, also, and I agree with you, Kevin, but we have to remember the spirit of the game and allowing people to play volleyball, especially in the times ahead, okay? Spirit of the game and playing, and Kevin, you used the word dangerous. I think Slavik made a very good decision on the day to ask the captains.
Absolutely. Sorry, Tommy, I wasn't saying that he shouldn't make the decision.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is he shouldn't ask permission of the captains to make it. He made the right decision in my mind, but you know, other people might make other decisions. But
I told them that I want to let her play. And I asked them if they have anything against it.
Yeah, and that's well, yeah. But what I'm saying is, Slavik, it's your decision, and I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong decision, but as I said, it's a decision because you made it, not because they let you make it.
Okay.
Declan, do you have one last comment? Or?
I do actually. On this leggings, I have a player who wears sleeves, full-length leg sleeves that are padded. They go from just above his socks to his thighs. Are they permitted or not? Because within the letter of the law, they're padded protection.
Can't picture what they are.
They're literally, if you look, he looks like he's wearing leggings. They're underneath the shorts down to his socks, but they are padded.
We're following the FIVB rule, which is that compression pads are allowed.
Okay.
And if you're talking about the person, I think you're talking about, I know they look like leggings, but they are compression pads, right?
Yeah.
So they're allowed. They are allowed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Well,
okay, guys.
They're allowed unless the cap.
Okay.
Sorry about this, but we're gonna have to move on because it's 8:15 and we have tons of content to deliver. So keep your questions, maybe take notes, and we can take those questions afterwards. We gave an opportunity to ask questions up front, but we didn't receive any. So it's great that you're participating and that you have questions, but we have to move on.
Okay.
Colette.
Just look closely at your referee's attire before the league starts, please. Thank you. Referee grades, just be aware of what grade you are and what grade you are allowed referee. Okay, it has happened that wrong grades have refereed wrong games. This is the layout, and just be aware of it, take note of it, and stick with it. Club secretary should be aware of it too. We don't put you in an awkward position asking you to referee wrong ones. Sanctions. This was a really bad year, considering it was a short year, for the amount of sanctions played, yellow cards, red cards, even an expulsion. Please refer to your sanctions. Know what's the difference between minor misconduct, rude conduct, offensive conduct, and aggression. Know the difference and know the implications, what the cards mean. It's all there in 2.4 under documents on the VI website. Okay. And lastly, it's just a list of the communications. These are all your contacts for anything you need. Courses, upgrades, guard event, and safeguard, it's all there. If you would take a note of it, maybe take a picture of it, and it's all there to hand when you need it. Okay. That's me, Don. Any last questions?
Clement, I found the chat again. So if you want to type your chat, it became tech savvy in the meantime and found the chat. Any other questions from anybody while he's typing? Oh, and in the meantime, we lost Aurelien, but it will continue watching it
I think Peter's
offline.
Peter's gone too, I think, yeah.
Alfredo, how are you?
Oh,
yeah.
Hola.
That was just a quick question. I thought that for the leggings, it was allowed if the leggings were stopping just below the knee. That the ruling was you cannot have a full legging, but like if it's just stopping short enough, like if it's short enough, it's fine. But I don't know if this was changed. Because that's what I was told when I was doing the course.
I think we covered this, haven't we?
I did not tell you that.
Well, someone told me that. I didn't make it.
Not me, not me.
Complain about tutors.
I was your tutor and I did not tell you that.
We'll issue something, Alfredo. We will discuss this further and issue something
it doesn't
else.
matter.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so move on. Thank you very much.
So I think that was it for Colette, guys. If you have any questions for her or anything that she's covered, you can reach out directly, or we can take questions at the end. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to hand it over to Vinny, who's going to have a lot of things to discuss with us. Vinny, are you ready? You're on mute, so maybe Colette, I'm going to mute you.
I'm not anymore.
You're not anymore. We can hear you loud and clear, so off you go.
Yeah. So good night. Hello everybody. Good evening. Hello everybody. So when I was invited to talk about this, Alfredo and Colette asked me to talk about my path how did I become a referee, and how did I get where I am at the moment. I'm not going to bore you guys telling the story of my life, because some of you probably was part of the call that we had early on this summer, and we went through like all of this, and so you're bored there, so I don't want to get you bored again. Okay, so it's just how it happens to me, and it happens in a different way for everybody. In Ireland, most of the referees I knew, they got into it because it was really, really needed. So their clubs or their teams, they badly needed a referee. So some of them, they're kind of forced to get into it, and some of them, they got used to it. Some of them, they liked it. I was very lucky because it was a great opportunity when I was in college. So I was playing volleyball since I was 9 years old. And then when I got to college, when I was 16, it was a great opportunity to make some pocket money. And that became like quite good money, helped me putting petrol in my car and buying some beers at the weekend. And so it became a really nice hobby. It was good fun to spend like my evenings playing, refereeing volleyball after my matches or before my matches. And I still had some pocket money. So that was very good. It helped me traveling as well. So refereeing tournaments outside my city, my hometown, back home, and meeting new people. And so that was a great way to keep me going. Then after that, I just discovered with a little bit more maturity that having the knowledge of the volleyball rules, that was making me a better captain on court. So I was able actually to understand the game better, and I was able to talk to the referee in a better way and help my team, and most of the time, you know. So that was the other thing that, okay, so actually it helped me when I'm playing as well. It became a passion when I came to Ireland, and some of my closest friends here, I started refereeing like 11 years ago here, 10 or 11 years ago. And one of my closest friends when I got here made me believe that was a good thing to be a referee in Ireland. So I blame those friends because they said like, oh no, it's great, you're going to have a great time. And in part, like actually they were being true to me. They were right. We do have a great time. We have a great community, and we can make loads of friends. So this is the good part. I don't think there's any bad part if you like what you're doing, if you enjoy going there on Sundays and sometimes Saturdays and doing a good job. So I think that's how I got where I am. Luckily last year, I was contacted by Volleyball Ireland, by the office, and they suggested that I was pretty much invited to go to Ankara at the end of the year to do the course. So they were happy to refer me to CEV if I was willing to do it. So for pretty much like a whole year, I would say like 9 to 10 months, I was studying to go to the course in December. I shared with some of you guys already, was one of the hardest course I've ever been to, I've ever attended to. The 10 days I was there, like the intensity and it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I'm pretty sure Alan Gormley here, like before I went, he told me that wasn't going to be easy. And I thought like, okay, he's just like, you know, and he was so nice to me. And then I thought like, Alan is always very nice. So he's just trying to prepare me. And then actually nobody's prepared to get there like for those 10 days. But luckily I did well, I passed, and now I'm an international referee candidate. So I'm going to explain to you like in next slides how it happens. So it's not just going there and doing the course. So there's a path that you have to follow, and there are loads of exams and assessments as we do here in Ireland. So we have to do as well to become an international referee. So right now, like I'm not an international referee. I can referee internationally, and I will do in the next 4 years, but under supervision of the CEV. because I'm just a international referee candidate. So if you wanna move to the next one, Alfredo. I was going to say, like, if anybody has any questions, but like, I don't think, like, most of you guys know me and we're friends, so we can just talk about this over a pint when the pubs are open again. So here in Ireland, so to be a referee here in Ireland, the referee pathway in Ireland, so it becomes this, the foundation, as it's called. So it's to complete a course, a school course, it's 5 or 6 hours. It concises as a grade 3 course. So it's pretty much the content that's delivered on the grade 3 course. And some of you guys attended the grade 3 course that we did online, Claude and myself, like last week and the week before. So it's exactly that content. And then after that, experience should be gained, and where that's during recreational leagues and schools finals and this kind of games there. Then we have the grade 3. Of course, like the guys that they do this school foundations, they don't need to do a grade 3 course again. They can just be assessed, and then they become a grade 3 referees. But if you didn't do the foundation, if you are like a grade 3, if you're doing the course as a grade 3, so you need to complete the course and pass the exams. You need to be followed by a written online exam, and has to be 80%, and an assessment as a first referee as Division 2 match. So if you are in this call, you went through this, or you're about to go through if you just finished the course that we just delivered last week. We finished delivering that last week. And to become a grade 2 referee, so you need 1 year experience as minimum as a grade 3 referee, and you have to referee 15 matches at least. From them, 8 as a first referee. Again, you need an assessment. You need to be assessed as a first referee in a Division 1 match, and then you can become a second referee. It's very valid to remember and to actually to remind everybody that you are responsible, we are responsible to keep the numbers, so the count of the matches that I'm refereeing. So once I apply, I'm going to apply with VI, and I have to tell, during my application, I have to tell the office how many matches I have refereed. So make sure like you keep count when you are, if you intend to apply for an assessment to be a higher grade referee. Next one, Alfredo. Thank you. Again, to become a grade 1 referee, 1 year experience as a grade 2, 15 matches at least, 8 matches as a first referee. And then what we say here, and it's valid for grade 2 assessment as well, the other matches as a second referee, it would be great to have like a mix and match, like so the grade you are part of, and then the higher grade, because you're allowed to referee the higher grade as a second referee. And then again, if you're going through, you need an assessment as a first referee in a premier match. And then to become a national grade, first you need 1 year experience as a grade 2 referee. Sorry, that's wrong. That should be a grade 1 referee there. So where you read grade 2, it's grade 1 referee. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna correct that.
That's all right. 50 matches, 8 as the first referee in the first in grade 1, and then the other matches a mix of second referee as a grade 1 and national grade. I know we have like very few matches that you can referee as a national, and I would say like association cup finals or international friendly, like the St. Patrick's Day games. So, but if you have the opportunity, even as a second referee, that would be great. It's great. It's a great experience to do that as a second referee on those matches there. And to become an international referee, what I'm going to do is I just have to get my notes here just to make sure I cover everything there. Yeah. So to become an international referee there, you will need to apply individually to FIVB and /CV because we're in Europe. and of course, it's very valid if you have a Volleyball Ireland Commission and board supporting your candidacy to attend the referee international course. Just to let you know, to become an international referee, to be able to apply, you need to be registered with CEV as an Irish referee, national grade, for at least 3 years. And you need to be maximum of 41 years old on the year that you're doing the course, okay? It doesn't mean like if you apply, it doesn't mean that you're going to be accepted. But if you do have the support of Volleyball Ireland, like that could increase your chances, of course. And when I say that, we had like almost 100 applications for the last course, and countries like France that had like 6 or 7 applications, they didn't get a place. Italy had only 2 places there. So England had only 1 guy representing England. So it's not that easy to get in. So make sure like if you go for it, you are well prepared, but it is a great experience if you decide to go. Any questions regarding to that? I think now I can answer if you guys want to ask me.
Any questions, anybody?
That's brilliant.
Before moving on.
It's good. It's always
sorry.
good, but this year before COVID, I had many problems to get graduation to first degree. I was asking for over a month and there was no assessor to do this for me. That's the problem in VAI.
Okay. So you're looking for an assessment, and to which
I was looking, yeah.
Which grade you're looking to get assessed?
First grade.
To grade 1. Okay. And yeah. So and did you contact the office, or who did you contact there?
For over a month, I was trying to get someone to assess me, and it was impossible. We didn't have any assessor available.
Can I speak there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
yep.
I was trying to organize it. I couldn't get an assessor down to Cork, and I couldn't find a match for you to come up to. And then COVID hit. I thought we had one lined up, but things happened. You're top of the list, Slavik, I promise, as I know you're well able for it. You'll have no problem. So you're top of the list. As soon as we can get back to some normality, we'll get a match for you. Okay?
Okay.
Just one comment from my end before we move on. Obviously, Vinny, you just very quickly mentioned about the fact that you delivered the first online training with Clodagh in the past 2 weeks. That was actually a great achievement. And so I want to thank you and Clodagh for the time that you've put into it, for the hours that you spent. I know that we have one of the attendees here tonight. I know that Maria, who was there for my club, is actually watching through YouTube. So thank you all for putting the efforts, because this has given clubs that are in remote regions the opportunity to send 4 members, which in normal circumstances we could have not afforded. I think there are some round of applause, unless there are questions. They're just applause, are they? Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so just before we move on, so yeah, there's a message there. Yeah, just to mention about the beach training last year, and that was a great opportunity as well, and refereeing in the Olympics qualifier. So that was great. Thanks, Grant, to remind me. That was a great experience, not only for me, but from like Aurelien is not here anymore, but actually he got like a good experience from that competition there, and it is great to have that kind of competitions here in Ireland. So we don't need to go abroad to referee with like great international referees there. So that was great. That was really good. And we have to give that to the office, to the board, to the commission, that now we have like teams that they're traveling abroad, they're being part of competitions like all over Europe, and that gives us referees opportunity to go and get more experience, because we're going to be refereeing with better referees with more experience. Sometimes they're not that better, but like most of the times they're really good referees. And every time I go abroad and referee with them, or even when they are here and referee with them, just after the match, after chatting to them, and even after watching them referee, it's great. Like I actually feel that I'm a better referee because I've learned a lot of things with them. So yeah, thanks, Ronnie.
Alan, is there a question there?
Vinny, I would just encourage you, and it's not something I did or Jerry Reynolds did, but I would encourage you at the Volleyball Ireland to notify referees when you are away refereeing, because typically all the matches are televised on the CEV channel or on YouTube, and it would be just great for other referees upcoming to watch you and to see how matches are done, and just to see a friend, somebody we know up in lights. So I'd encourage somebody just to keep us notified of any assignments you have.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, thanks, Alan.
Also, just because we're all about confidentiality and GDPR, I just got a message from Maria, live feedback. They were great teachers, very happy with them. So that's for you, Clodagh and Vinny. Maria, you still need to do the assessment, so don't try it here.
She was good.
There is a question from Clement.
That's why she's saying it.
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm not sure if Vinny can answer that. Maybe more for like the, I don't know, Clodagh or Colette. Is there a way to speed up the process of being a referee? Say if you have been playing in another country at a very high level, and you have been refereeing like in another country, but you have no experience in Ireland. Is there a way to speed up the process so you don't have to go to the grade 3, whatever? You can start straight away to maybe grade 2 or grade 1.
Vinny, do you want to answer me?
Like,
this is the document that I think Clodagh, Alan, and Colette, you guys wrote together. So like if Colette wants to take over, or Clodagh, or even Alan, like I was reading the document another day. And
I'll answer. There's a fast track for anybody that, like, we want people to move up the ladder as quickly as possible, but we want them to be capable and experienced enough to do that. So anybody coming in from abroad, normally you can basically show your papers, get them translated if necessary, and if we try to equate it to our grades. So like we've done it many a time where maybe a grade 1 in another country, let's say we'll start them at grade 2. We normally assess them at grade 2, and then if they're looking good, then we just try to get them assessed quickly up to grade 1. We're not going to hold anybody back just because they haven't done the 15 matches. But if you are starting at a grade 3 level as a novice, you know, really you need to get that experience under your belt to work your way up through the ladder. It's the same really with a very experienced player. You know, if they all know the rules a lot, then you know they have to do the grade 3 to get onto the ladder, but we would try to fast track people through. I think Aurelian is a classic case of a fast track there the year before last, and a couple of others we've done recently. I think
Erica as well. She told me about some story like that.
Yep.
Now, the other takeaway from this, guys, is that the opportunity is there. So you can grow in your role. There is no reason why you couldn't be where Clodagh or Vinny are today. So if you're also interested in that path to become a tutor, just reach out and we will tell you how that's done, right? Any further questions on the pathway? Silence is gold, so I think...
Yeah, can I just, like, about what you just said, like, I keep pushing mainly the younger referees that I know. So like Regina won't let me lie by myself here. So I keep pushing like the younger ones to keep refereeing, and sometimes I bribe them with gifts that I bring from my traveling abroad. So trying to push them, because it would be great. Like my experience in Ankara was myself, like being like, I'm 41 years old, so I was 40 last year, and then seeing referees that they are like 28, 30 years old, like there, that was just fresh of breath air for them and for me as well to learn with them. So it would be great to have like referees in Ireland, like following the same path, you know, and perhaps like attending the international courses there. And like Claude and myself, we do that, and Alan has done for so many years, and I'm sure like he would help like anyone who needs. So if anyone wants to progress, like, and wants to become like a national or international referee, like we're happy to help and to mentor if there's any need.
Perfect. Thank you, Vinny. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about another hot topic. So Vinny.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about score sheet now. And of course, like it's important, guys, that you know that this is not a score sheet course. I'm just going to go through like the main part of the score sheet and remind everybody that what's your job and what you have to do. And I might not know everything now about this because I thought like I'm quite okay and confident to deliver this. But then before this session, I was talking to Alfredo, and then Alfredo said some of the stuff might change because of COVID. So Alfredo, please feel free, like if I say something that is not in accordance with the new guidelines for COVID, please feel free to interrupt me and correct me, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so when you talk about score sheet, we talk about preparation. So I like to be in the hall, like when I'm refereeing a match, I like to be in the hall at least 45 minutes before the match starts. I know Volleyball Ireland instruct us to be there like half an hour before, but I rather to be there like 45 an hour earlier, so I can make sure like the score sheet is properly done. So when it comes to the first bit, the name of the competition and the division and category and the name of the teams. So this is normally filled in by the scorekeeper, but it's important that you know if that's done properly. So I know it's not done by you, by us, by the referees, but you need to know what has to be done there, okay? Next one. Okay, so then it comes to, and probably now it's where Alfred is going to help me here. So it comes to the players and names and registration. So in this example here, I don't have the registration numbers because this was taken from another score sheet. But that's where normally the coaches and the captains or the captains, they will fill in the numbers and the name of the players. And here in Ireland, the registration ID number. So it's important that you know what goes there. And it's important that you know that that's there not just to fill in the score sheet. It's there because you need to check the jerseys before the match, and you need to make sure like the players that they are on the bench or in the warm-up area or on court, their names are there. So it's important that you know that the list of was given to the scorekeepers, they match with those players there. So Fred, do you want to take over there and talk?
Yes, there is indeed an update. So you remember how we said, guys, that whenever we see an opportunity to minimize sharing or attaching or passing of paper and pens, as Vinny rightly said, so far we had given the team coach or the teams the opportunity to write the list, also for spelling mistakes. This is probably going to go away this year, and we're going to have only the scorekeeper fill in those lists. So the teams will probably provide the list, the one-pager that we saw earlier on, and they will actually fill in those lists. But this doesn't alter your responsibility to check that numbers match. This screenshot, as you can see, is not actually taken from a Volleyball Ireland score sheet. In fact, it misses the registration numbers slot, but that's also your responsibility to check that everything is filled in correctly. There's a question there from Clement.
Yeah. No, just before we go ahead, just I don't miss this. So it's just to remind you guys that we have 14 places for players there, But in Ireland, we only allow 12 players. Only 12 players are permitted. Okay, and doesn't matter the combination of one or two liberos. Only 12 players can be included there. Okay. Sorry, Clement. Go ahead.
No worries. Just wondering if we are still asking the captains to sign the score sheet then.
That's you.
That's a rule, and it's not changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is that going to work then? So the captains and the coaches. So we're going to use like the same pen, or they bring their own pen, or.
So this is obviously something that we are thinking through. The clubs will be encouraged not to share pens. So we will have to tell or communicate that they will have their own pen. Now, if a club doesn't have a pen and you want to share a pen, we need to make sure that they sanitize it.
Clean the pen. Just clean the pen.
Exactly. Clean the pen, sanitize it, and go with the flow.
Next one. This is here, but of course, like we know, and again, this is going to be filled in by the scorekeepers. But it's important that we know like where our names are going to be, and you know like how that has to be filled. Okay, so officials and match officials there. Next one. Okay, so it's important that once everything is filled in, okay, we need to cross. Okay, so if it's not in there, if it's free, okay, we need to close those areas. Okay, so this is the first referee needs to know that, the second referee needs to know that, and this is going to be done by the first referee. Okay, I've seen like scorekeepers doing that. This is not the scorekeeper's job. Okay, because they might cross and close places that they're not supposed to be closed. But this is your job. Make sure us as a referee, that's what we do.
That's something I've learned because I'm a scorekeeper, I'm not a referee, and I used to cross it myself. So I know now that it's actually the referee's responsibility.
Yeah. You might do it and you might do that wrong. And then
fair enough.
Referee, that might, you know, it's going to be, might be a mistake, and then, you know, it's done.
There's a comment there from Declan. Isn't the pen classified as shared equipment, which is not permitted in protocol? I don't think it's equipment. As we said, if anybody can have their own pen, great. If not, we will have to make a way to sanitize them. This is something that probably we will include in the communications to the COVID officers so that they're aware. So that's the opportunity for us to communicate that. I think somebody was asking a question as well.
Yeah, sorry, Tommy here.
Hi, Tommy.
So the crossing out of the closing the boxes, it would be advisable at the start of the game once everybody has signed, the team captains and coaches, not at the end of the game?
Yeah, I can tell you, like once everything it's there, okay, you finished and you're about to start the match, why not close it?
Yeah, because the team captain and coaches have all signed, so that area is closed off. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Just a good
point.
So
nothing it's allowed to be added there anymore.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so I put that there because as a second referee, a few times I had to help the scorekeepers. So sometimes the scorekeepers, they are not very experienced. And sometimes we have to teach them like on the spot, like when they arrive at the hall. So it's important that you know how to fill in the score sheet. So it's not your responsibility. You're not going to be doing that, but you need to know if they don't know how to do so. You need to know how to do a timeout, where to write down the points, and you know, like you need to be able to complete that so you can teach the scorekeepers. Next one. The same with substitutions. So you need to be able to teach them to make sure like they're doing that correctly, because if you don't know, or if you know and you're not helping them, the score sheet is going to be full of mistakes and you're going to be the one signing it at the end of the game. Next one.
That's to close the subs.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it's just how the subs happening to back. So it's the same thing. Yeah. Next one.
Sorry, just a quick question then. Is it always the score then? Is it always A and B? A, B?
Sorry, can you go back there?
The score is requesting team first, and opponent team on the other one. Is this what you mean? So when you enter,
So which score goes first?
the requesting team go first.
The team, yeah.
Requesting team go first. So in this example, the score is 1922. So they're entering 1922. Can you see it? I don't know if it's blurred or if you can actually see it.
That's visible there.
But the rule is always.
Sorry, maybe I'm not zoning in quick enough. How do you know from that who requested it?
If you look the points here on the right hand side.
Team B requested the substitution. So they're putting 7 on 12. And the score right now when they request of the requesting team is 19, and the score of the opponent team is 22. And the same rule applies to timeouts. So
if there's an error, you can always track back because it was never 22-19. So you can track back from the score.
That's true actually, because this should be 22 there.
Yeah.
Eagle eye, Kevin.
Yeah.
But it's also on their side. Like that's their side of the score sheet.
Yeah.
So the requester is obviously, you know what I mean? It's on the right hand side, which is B score sheet. They're not doing a substitution under A.
Yeah, that's it.
Are we okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So.
Okay. So improper requests. That's something like most of us. I'm sure all of us know that as the referees, but the scorekeepers, they don't know how to mark that. But again, this is the easiest thing ever because it's written there. Just down below, you can see there like how to record the sanctions. So that's written in the score sheet. So it's saying there like put the corresponding abbreviation, number for players, C for coach. So it's telling you there exactly what to do and when to mark it. So if the scorekeepers don't know how to do that, and if you don't remember, you just need to read that. Okay, so it's fairly okay. Next one. Again, how to record.
Sorry, can I just ask the order of the request of the score then as well? For the sanction is?
Yes.
Sorry, that's showing here. Okay, sorry.
I think that sanctions, sanctions, team sanctions points go first.
Okay.
If that's English enough.
That's another thing that we need to know. And most of the scorers, they won't know how to do it. And when I say most of them, some of them, they're brilliant and they've been doing that for so long and helping us out. But some of them, they might not know. And like at least in our club, we're trying to have like younger people like helping us out. Like some people are bringing their children to help us. And it's great to be able to teach them and to let them know exactly how it's done. So that's the referee's responsibility to know that you're not going to be doing that, but you need to know. Next one. Again, this is another thing that some referees, they don't do it. If there's a remark, if you need to put a remark there, make sure you sign it, okay? So this is another thing that sometimes we don't remember to do it. Next one. After the game, the following signatures in order. So first, both captains, A and B, then assistant scorer, second referee, and first referee. That's the order, okay? As a first referee, sometimes people are in a hurry and they need to leave. Take your time, make sure you check the score sheet and you know exactly how it's done. And if you have any doubts, like, have a look in your book, ask somebody, but don't close the score sheet. Don't sign the score sheet without completing the score sheet properly, okay? As it says there, so the first referee is responsible for the accuracy of the score sheet. It should be rechecked, all entries, especially the results section, as well as the completeness, okay? Next one.
I think what's going to go next is the new score sheet, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if you guys can see it.
No, there's another one there.
There's something there. Sorry.
No. It's just.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Apologies,
just one
yeah.
for the signatures there.
Yeah.
That one looks like a baby, the signatures there, but yeah. And the next one is the new score sheet.
Okay, so guys, let me see if you can see this. Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Does anybody notice anything new or different?
Line judges?
Who's
Bottom
that,
left.
Regina?
Line judges?
Somebody mentioned bottom left.
Bottom left, something. I can't see it
What's
now. I've
happening in
covered
the
it.
bottom left? So you can't see it, and I've taken a photo of this, and I'm gonna zoom it. It's gonna be a bit blurry. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can pull it up. So this is something that was added by Volleyball Ireland as an additional check that the referee needs to complete before signing the score sheet. I'm going to read it out loud in case it's not visible on your phones. It's this 4 or 5 lines underneath the sanctions. It said score sheet checklist, and then there is a yes or no. There is a section for player playing up, yes or no. Registration, I can't read it myself. Registration query. Yeah, yes or no.
Query.
Protest on sheet, yes or no. And disciplinary action, yes or no. So, Vinny?
Yeah, no, so this is pretty much what it says there. So after the score sheet is finished, just make sure like you fill in that bit of the score sheet as well. So if there's any player that's playing up and you've been advised about that, so make sure you write that on the remarks and then you put that as a yes there, or if there's none as a no. I think as a referee, what I would do is like once I'm checking the players, I would ask the captain, is there anybody playing up, or the coach? So I think that would be my approach to make sure like I was aware if something is happening there. And then if there's any protests and any disciplinary action, so just make sure you don't forget to. I think this is to help the guys in the office to track and have more information.
I saw 2 hands up. So first Claude and then Alan.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd maybe give some more context to it. It was actually introduced by the National League Management Committee to try to track, because of the competition rules, we need to be able to track the number of sets that are played up by players. The registration query actually might be redundant because we've just changed the rule. So we should double check that before it goes to print. And then to flag that there's a protest on the score sheet coming, or a disciplinary action has taken place. So basically we haven't been doing a great job of policing that for the last while. So we want to actually get every score sheet. Well, we don't want to have to check every score sheet, but if we can have, if it's flagged that there's a player playing up or there's a protest or disciplinary action, then that means that score sheet will fall into this has to be checked pile. And the National League Committee will be tracking those metrics, and also, tracking also, like if there's a player discipline problem, obviously they have to check if the a player was sanctioned that they didn't pay up and things like that. So it's to help with that.
Alan, you had a question. Thank you, Claudia.
Very quickly, what constitutes disciplinary action? The issuing of a card, or?
Yeah, that's something in that box above was like that. There's a yellow or red card was given, because then disciplinary points would be applied.
Including delays.
Penalty points, Alan. So if a card, the idea is that teams and people accrue penalty points. So if there's a penalty point for a sanction, it should be marked. Really, what you're doing is you're just, there's 50 score sheets, but there's only stuff on 3 of them. So it's just, if there's anything in that, you need anything to be checked, you reckon anything needs to be checked, just put a tick in the box, and that's really what it's for.
But there's no disciplinary points. Sorry, I should have put my hand up. There's no disciplinary points for delays. So no, that doesn't need to
Yeah.
go into it.
Sorry, I meant to say that.
Right.
Yes, so the delay is not required.
Yeah.
Only personal offences, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
So maybe we should leave only disciplinary action and remove the player playing up.
The player playing up,
No, they're
Slavik,
both
actually
needed.
helps. Yeah, helps another check. So it would be needed. It doesn't happen in probably in the clubs that you officiate, because we don't have multiple teams playing different leagues. I'm gonna say something out there. I don't want to open a can of worms because we have 3 minutes and we want to finish on time. But these score sheets are the ones to be used next year. So I'm throwing it out there. We will communicate to you how this will happen, how we will aim to recollect the old ones that can be reused on other lower categories, but that's what we are aiming at. I'm not taking questions on this, but because it's not actually firm, it's not confirmed, there are conversations about it. Declan.
Yeah, actually, just haven't come on to that. I have questions on going back on the warm-up. Is the protocol changing? Coin toss, will the protocol change? And the lineup, will the protocol change? Pre-match, post-match.
So as far as I'm aware, it's not changing. As in, there will be a coin toss. There will be a lineup. There won't be handshakes. This will be communicated that any physical contact will need to be avoided. I don't know if Colette, Vini, or anybody else want to add on that, or if you, Declan, if you have suggestions there, by all means.
Now in 2 minutes, or
probably offline.
I haven't heard anything different on that.
Sorry, just a question, and it might be stupid, and I apologize for this. A lot of sports around the world are allowing players to take a protest before matches. Has that been discussed? If it hasn't been, fine, we leave it.
To take a photo, you say?
No, sorry, before the matches, we'd say if you watch all the sports, players are taking a knee, a Grand Prix, Formula One, even soccer matches in the UK. Before each match, players do what I think they take a knee, is what it's called. Is that being allowed, or?
I don't think it has been addressed, to be honest with you. So I'm going to take it off if it's going to be allowed. We haven't really regulated that piece, but we can look into that.
Then it's a no.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we have 0 minutes, but we can stay for questions if we want to.
Can I just mention something? Jen asked me to remind referees that when a red card or higher has been issued, a match report will have to follow from the referee. Okay, it will be requested. Just to be aware of that. Okay, there's been a lot of poor score sheets in the past, and this is why this is added. Vinny did such a good job on this. We want to get this up to scratch. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question? I still haven't figured out how to put the hand up.
No worries, Tommy.
I'm new to all this Zoom. I have too much other stuff. The reporting of the score sheet back to the office, is that with the club's home team or losing team this year? What way are we doing it?
That nothing has changed in that department. No alterations.
What was last year? It was the clubs?
Now you're asking me too much because I'm not very good with that.
It's the winning team.
The winning team sends the sheet back to the office, posts it back. The referee still must take a photograph of the score sheet and send it to, is it score sheets at volleyballireland.ie, something like that?
It's on the link, yeah.
Was that the case last year?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That for me falls under secretary duties.
Last year you
and
had,
also
you
the captain.
Sorry, last year we gave a number for sending the score sheet, but I was never
Sorry.
getting any answer back when I was sending the score sheet on the WhatsApp number. So I'm just wondering if it was actually being watched or used.
I'm not aware of WhatsApp number, Colette.
A WhatsApp, no, as far as I was aware, it was an email address.
Yeah, you can use a WhatsApp as well to Mark. Yeah.
It was sent to Mark. The captain had to send in a picture to Mark in the office, so you could email it in or send it in by WhatsApp.
Okay, so
Okay,
it was
wear that.
useful.
I didn't know that
Oh
either.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the
But you would
winning
have found
result so that
out
he can
if it
update the
wasn't
site.
received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amount, you would have found out because they would have come chasing you. So
Okay, so just
no need to
clarify,
get
there's
them good
2
news.
copies that go into the VEI.
No, 3.
3?
No.
The top
in-
3 for the winning team. Oh, apologies. The top team, the top 3, the winning team get. But you're right. Sorry, the top 2 are posted in. They keep the
No,
third
only
one.
the one now.
What?
It was only the top 1 last year.
They didn't need the
Okay,
2 copies
how about
anymore.
we put together
Sorry,
communication on
they
that
didn't need
and we
2 copies.
clarify? Yeah.
Yeah.
First I heard of that
And
one.
probably this is nothing to do with
it's in the
referee responsibilities.
competition rules.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is because we were
competition
asked
rules, sorry,
to send it
so
into the
it's-
score sheet email address.
Yeah.
So it is our responsibility, I believe, or is that changing?
The referees were sent an email at the beginning of the season to send us to take the photo of the score sheet and send it in.
Yeah.
And then the
It's just
clubs
the
have to
photo
do
of the first page anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the copies.
clubs have to
that we're
post it,
sent.
and the winning team has to give the
Yeah.
results to the VI so they can update the website basically.
So there is referee's responsibility for the score sheet going forward will be after
Take a
signing
photo of the front
Photo.
page and
Email.
send it to Volleyball Ireland.
So there'll be the
Score sheets at Volleyball Ireland.
okay. So it's triply done. That's just all I'm asking.
Yeah.
You see, the first referee is responsible for just reporting it back quickly, so at least the office knows straight away what the result is. But remember, it's in a sense the score sheet's a legal document. So what you're sending in is a notification that the match has been played and it's gone in, but actually they can't act. Nothing can be actioned until the physical signed sheet comes in. So Tommy, what you're doing is you're notifying the office that this team won and that team didn't play and there's sanctions, etc., which they can be ready for when the sheet comes in.
Okay, thanks for clarification.
All right, guys, I'm going to switch off the light as final call, like it happens in the place where we all want to be. Any final questions, anyone? Going once, going twice.
Goodbye.
Guys, thank you so much for
thank you
for your
very much.
time. I hope it was insightful and
Good night.
helpful.
Thank you.
This will be recorded. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks, Vinny. Thanks, Colette.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
I'm going to close the meeting now. Bye-bye.